Hey guys, welcome to the Prepping Preacher. I'm Brother Tim. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope God's truly blessed you. Hey, let's talk about the non-preppers in your life. Stay tuned. As I said, this is the Prepping Preacher channel. I'm Brother Tim, and I'm so glad you're here, and I hope God's truly blessed you. And hey, if it's your first time with us, do me a favor. Do not hit that subscribe button yet. Let me tell you what we're about. We are pro-God. That means we invoke the name of Jesus Christ on this channel. We are pro-family, and along with that goes pro-life. We do not support the murdering of innocent babies. We are also pro-Second Amendment. That means guns, things that go bang, okay? We're also pro-military and pro-police. Now, and just basically pro-America. Now, if any of those offend you, well, this isn't your channel. So hit the button, leave. Okay, go ahead and hit your thumbs down and get on down the road, because we're going to talk about different things that will offend you. So, but you guys that have been with us, man, thank you. On the lives, we're having a ball. YouTube doesn't like it, but we're having a ball on the lives, and I thank y'all for all that you're doing with the comments, with the likes, and the subscriptions. God bless you. I appreciate it. You're helping us get our voice out there. And don't forget that we also have the preppingpreacher.com website that we've put up there. We have a forum that you can register, and we have prayer chains going. We have conversations going about all kinds of things that deal with prepping and Jesus Christ. You name it, we have it on there. So go to the preppingpreacher.com also and join the community there. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the different kinds of non-preppers out there that you're running into, because I seem to be running into a lot of them lately, and they seem to have their own little views, you know. You see, when the word prepping is mentioned, everybody has their presuppositions, so to speak. I've been prepping since before prepping was cool, to be honest with you. At one time we were called a survivalist, but which conjured up really guys running through the woods in their ghillie suits eating bugs. But I guess survivalists went out when that show Survivor, you remember it, you know, I think it's still on, you know, it's a soap opera on an island with less food to eat, okay? When that came out, well, they took the Survivor out, and then about that time we had, I believe it was Nat Geo had the Doomsday Preppers. And they had some extreme additions there, let's just put it that way. And so prepper has stuck with a lot of people. And many look at us as preppers like we're sitting in a bunker waiting for a nuclear blast, as if we could all afford a bunker, amen? But just as there's many opinions about preppers, what a prepper is, there are as many types of preppers as there are opinions, okay? But like I said, everybody has this idea of what a prepper is. Folks, the general term prepper, it comes from the word prepare, okay? That means that one is preparing for something, those who prepare. And you have to go, well, preparing for what? And see, that's another loaded question. I mean, it could be preparing for hyperinflation, EMP, nuclear blast, whatever it may be, even to the Armageddon and the zombie apocalypse. I don't know. You take your pick. Okay, because everybody's preparing for certain things. This prepping preacher is simply trying to prepare my family and those close to me for hard times. And hard times covers a general area, not a specific here. I call it just common sense, but I have to remember that sense isn't common anymore. You know, and preparing is also biblical. And I've done another video on it, and I'll put a link here for it, of how it's biblical, how God expects us to be preparing for hard times. All right, but there are a lot of different kinds of preppers out there, and some are ones that you really need to stay away from or steer clear of. And I may do a video on the different kinds of preppers later. If y'all want to see that, man, put it in the comments, and we'll do one like that. But this video is about different types of non-preppers. Now, this is not an all-inclusive list. I have about 4 or 5 different types of non-preppers that you'll run across. All right. Now, the first are what I call the six-packers. Now, these six-packers, these are the people who live for the here and now. They are just living for the moment is what's going on in their life. They rarely keep up with current events. Their viewing habits mainly are probably on social media, and Snapchat and TikTok and Reddit. That's their news outlets. And their biggest concern is if they get the latest fashion or video or vehicle. It's all about possessions, to say that wouldn't help them in a grid down situation or a bad situation. And the thing is, this isn't beating them up. This is their choice that they're making in life. And when you speak to them about current events and what's going on and preparing for hard times, folks, well, it's like the lights are on, but nobody's home. I guess that's too much Mountain Dew or too much Red Bull. I don't know. But it's kind of the Bill and Ted generation, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they are codependent on many for their existence. And you know what I'm talking about. You probably know some of these. Most, if not all, have never really contributed to society, but most of the time have leached off of it. And their main belief is that it doesn't matter if it gets bad, somebody's going to take care of me. That somebody could be their family, their mom and dads, or parts of their family, or even the government, but they aren't going to lift a hand to help themselves. Now, preparing for them is basically going out and getting enough Red Bull and Mountain Dew for the gaming session that weekend, or getting ready to zone out watching YouTube videos of other people playing video games. Hadn't figured that out yet either. Now, sometimes these people, they'll change groups. Now, they're not always locked into these six-packer groups, but unless something really gets their attention, they are just going to do their thing and continue in the path that they're going. These usually grow up, and when I say grow up, it might be 35 or 40 nowadays when they grow up, but they'll grow up and they may go to another group. So let's look at group number 2. Now, group number 2, I call them the no biggies because that's what they're always saying, no biggie, These are the non-preppers that catch maybe a little spot of news on the TV, and they might scan the headlines on YouTube or Yahoo News, They read news blocks that are on Facebook or whatever it may be that's been bought and paid for by the oligarchs, but that's another whole story. And Pinterest is sometimes their news outlet, okay? They're still like the six-packers that we talked about earlier in that they live for the here and now, the moment. But their here and now is more about selfies in the multimedia, showing where they went or what they ate or what they're doing or how they did their makeup, or how they've decorated their house for the latest holiday, And the thing about the no biggie group is that it isn't a big issue in their life until it becomes one, okay? They only miss the water when the well runs dry. And then they're dumbfounded when the well runs dry, even though you've been trying to tell them that the well is running out of water, And there's somebody pouring concrete down the well, and they can't figure out why there's no water, Totally oblivious to what's happening around them in the world, and as long as it doesn't affect them. And when you tell them some of the news and that they need to prep for some of the stuff going on, well, you get replies like, well, it can't get that bad. It's not that bad. That only happens in the movies. Economies don't do that. We're the United States. We're the strongest economy. That doesn't happen all the time. We'll tell that to Venezuelans. Or I love it. The government would step in if it really got bad. That's not a good thing. But now the no biggie group, as I said, though, it isn't a big issue until it happens to them. All right, these are the ones running in and buying the milk and the Doritos and the beer when the weatherman on the TV talks about snow, and they throw some bread in there too. What a recipe. But these are the ones that are in Florida or around the coast there that every year they have to buy new plywood for the hurricane season because they buy it before the hurricane. When people are telling them before the season gets there, they buy it, they cut it to their windows, and then after the hurricane season comes through, nothing happens. Well, they stick it in the garage. Well, then they want to make room for their new Peloton, so they get rid of it, throw out the plywood. I've got some friends down there in Florida that have picked up all kinds of plywood that people have just thrown away because they weren't going to use it anymore that year. But that's what they're doing here. Preparing for them is making sure that they've pre-ordered their HelloFresh meals for the next week. I saw one of these guys on the news up here in Tennessee. It's not just Florida. I mean, ignorance goes all over. That when we had our ice storm, excuse me, and some of the fast food restaurants were shut down for about 3 days. Wow. He was like, I just don't know what I'm going to do to eat. I have no food, and where am I going to eat? All the restaurants are closed. You know, it's like I said, ignorance is rampant all over the place. So that our second group, like I said, is the no biggies. Now let's go to the third group. Now our third group, I call them the round to-its. Now I used to have a little round metal disc that said to it because everybody was saying I'm going to get around to it. These are the type of non-preppers that they'll listen intensely to you when you're telling them what's going on. And they're not ignorant of the current events, the world issues that are going on. They see the news, they know what's going on, and they can get a grasp of what's going on. And they know they should be doing something to prepare, but they're not. Okay? And when you speak of prepping to them or getting prepared, they're usually in all agreements with you. You know, they'll say something like, you're right, I know I need to start putting up food. I've seen the shortages that are going on, and I've seen the price increases that are happening. You know, I need to do that. And I'll get around to it. You know, and or you're right, I need a way to heat my home. I remember when we lost power during the ice storm and we didn't have any heat. Man, this house got cold and I need to do something. I'll get around to it. You know, you're right, I need to do this, I need to do that. You fill in the blank. You understand what I'm saying? They agree with you, but they never have any action. They're all talk and no walk is what it boils down to. The round to-its, they're pros at procrastinating, basically. They know that they need to do something, but they put it off. And they'll get around to it someday. The problem is that someday never comes. Now, the fourth group is probably the best group of the non-preppers to associate with, because this fourth group are what I call the want-tos. They want to prep. They see what's going on. They know what's happening, what's coming down, that what possibly could happen. Let's put it that way. And so they want to prep, but due to circumstances, they're not able to. It may be financial circumstances. They're not able to put that much up, but they're still trying with what they've got. They're not able to, maybe physically, maybe for health reasons or for age or whatever it may be, they're not able to. But they would be the best ones to try to incorporate into your group, because they're seeing the writing on the wall and they want to do something, but they're not able to. And these are the ones that I tell, well, okay, learn skills, okay? Learn, get knowledge, read all you can, watch videos, learn how to do stuff and go learn and do it. Not just learn it, but do it. So you'll be a valuable asset is what I tell them. And they can be valuable assets, to your group. These are the ones to really talk to. They're probably the best out of the group, the groups that we have. Now, this fifth group, is the worst, and we're going to talk about them next. Now, this last and fifth group that I'm going to talk about, these are the worst kind. And man, I was having hard times figuring out what to call them. You could call them mockers, scoffers, obstinate. You know, I mean, there's so many different names here. But these are the worst kind of non-preppers that you can run up on. And they actually remind me of some of the militant atheists I've met in my life as a Christian that come up against Christianity. I mean, they not only are not going to prep, all right, but they're going to be mad at you if you're doing it. And they're going to try to make fun of you and talk down to you and ridicule your logic and explain to everybody that will listen to them running their mouth of how stupid you are and what you're doing. And so they really, really want to just downgrade anything that you're doing with this. And they group all preppers really into one basket of assorted nuts, so to speak. That we're all sitting in our bunkers. Man, I wish I had a bunker. With our tinfoil hats on. I got a tinfoil hat. With an SKS across our laps eating MREs, okay? Waiting for the bombs to drop or the New World Order to take power. One of their favorite reruns that they like to play, that always, and you hear them say it, I knew people who went crazy or went nuts in 1999 with Y2K. They'll love to say that. There were people, they were just so stupid is what they said. They cashed out their savings and bought silver and gold and bullets and guns and food with it, you know, for nothing. Nothing happened. Y2K, January 1, it was fine in 2000. Nothing happened. And they're right, nothing happened. okay? But what those people were doing, and, well, okay. And they'd say, it's all hype. And doesn't it sound like the same argument that we hear people about the coming back of Jesus? I mean, it really does. Not on the same scale, but, you guys have been saying that Jesus is going to come back for 2,000 years. My grandma used to say Jesus is coming back. And I want to look at what their arguments, the premise of their arguments are based on here. Now listen to this logic. Because it hadn't happened yet, I have figured out that it's not going to happen. Okay, what they're saying is because it's not happened yet, that means it's not going to happen. Now that's just idiocracy right there to say that. I mean, that would be, how's this? Well, I bought a brand new $75,000 pickup. I'm not going to buy insurance on that truck because I've been driving that truck since I drove it off the lot. And I haven't had an accident yet, so an accident's not going to happen. Well, number one, the bank ain't going to allow you to do that. But you see what I'm saying, and the state won't either. Is that logic or is that just plain stupidity? So, and I want to fall back to their rerun, the Y2K. Now, did I prep during Y2K? Yeah, I prepped before it, Now, it wasn't any different than I prepped for 2001 or, matter of fact, 2020, 2021, okay? What this guy doesn't realize is that prepping is basically just common sense, and it's a lifestyle. That's what it should be. It's taking care of my family like God has commanded me to do, okay? And remember what this Skippy said about people buying gold and silver or guns and ammo Y2K. And how stupid they were. I want to talk about that for a moment. If you would have bought silver, say on June 1 of 1999, it was $4.88 an ounce. As of this video, silver is selling a little over $24 an ounce. Not a bad investment. Gold, June 1 of 1999, was $266 an ounce. This, as a filming of this, $1,790 an ounce. Boy, I'm sure glad I was stupid in 99, but I'll leave it at that. And we won't even discuss the guns and the ammo that people bought back then because it hadn't depreciated if you've seen the prices. So, how do you talk to them? How do you talk to the ones that are being indignant? You don't. All right? You shake them off. You shake them off, man. It's not worth the hassle. You see, that's a little man syndrome is what I call it. They're not happy and they don't feel big unless they're putting somebody else down. And really, when people sit back and look, they see what a little person they are. But we don't do that. We're here to edify. We're here to build up. And that's not building up. And this was a Christian brother talking. But I got to wonder where that faith is at. But that's beside the point. Again, shake them off. You don't need that negativity in your life. If they want to just, talk trash all the time, you don't need to be around them. All right? So, now we've seen the 5 different groups. The question becomes, what if they show up at the house after the balloon goes up? Well, let's take it in a smaller step here. Okay? And let's just say it's not a widespread event. Let's just say maybe one of those in that group has lost their job and they didn't have any groceries in the house because they're not prepping, they're not putting stuff back. Would you turn them down? No. Conditionally here, not at first. All right? But let's take it by a group. Okay, the 6-packers, and they lost a job if they even had one. All right, but they lost a job, and so they're coming to you every day for food. But then they're going back and playing their games. They're going back and doing life as normal, but then they're coming to you every day for food. Well, and they're not trying to do anything to improve their situation and their circumstances. Well, eventually this food bank's going to be closed because, I'm there to give you a hand up, not a hand out, Well, the same thing with the major event, all right? I'll give you a hand up, but I'm not going to keep giving you a handout. All right. What about the no biggie group? What if they're showing up? If they've lost their job and they need, say, the rent, okay, for a small event, okay, would you help them with the rent? Well, yeah, if they're in my group, probably so. If they're in my circle, probably so. I'd help them with the rent. But what after that? After I paid the rent for them, that they ended up and they went out and bought a new iPhone or bought a new car. Still hadn't got a new job. Still hadn't, even looked for a new job. And their lifestyle hadn't changed one iota. Would I do the next month's rent? Probably not. Well, just like the six-packers, it's a hand up, not a hand out, okay? God has made us stewards of what he's given us, and we got to be good stewards of it. And that's just throwing good money after bad. Pouring sand down a rat hole, as my daddy used to say. And so then what about the round two? It's okay, well, them guys, are probably the closest to a prepper. The wannabes are the closest, but they would learn from their mistakes, I believe. All right, they would come maybe once for help, but they would also begin to do, and they would want to do, and they'd learn. And then you have the want tos. Now the want tos, you can bring them into your group. They're going to be, and hopefully they've been learning skills, and they've got a little bit of food, but they're not able to take care of all of it for their family. But that's when we come in and help them because they weren't able to do it. You see that? Are you catching that there? Now, the scoffers. Whew, I'm here to tell you, there'll be no grace. You can call it hard love, whatever you want to do, call it. But, here they are, the scoffers. And if you're one of them and you've heard the warning, you've seen the writing on the wall. You've heard it. But not only did you not heed the warning, but you actually made fun of it. You actually dismissed it and made fun of it. You made your choice and then scoffed at the people that chose to prepare. You see that old adage, you made your bed, now lie in it. Well, there you go, Skippy. All right. I would feel guilty by helping a scoffer because that's not my calling. You understand? They're marked. No, my calling is to help those that couldn't help themselves, okay? And, it's called widows and orphans in some of the epistles, but that means anybody that wasn't able to help themselves, okay? And that's what we need to look at as common sensors, not preppers. We're common sensors, okay? And we're Christian first, and we need to help those that can't help themselves. First, take care of your family. When I say family now, that's inclusive of the church. They're your family. You're my brother. You're my sister. We help each other out. There'll be somebody playing on Christian charity. There always is. But, that's between them and God if they truly are saved. But if they're not saved, that's definitely between them and God. But we try to help those that can't help themselves. But again, it's a hand up, not a hand out. Now, there are some that won't be able to do things. That's what we're here for. That's why we're here, okay? That's why this group is here. You see what I'm saying? That's why Jesus wanted a multiplication of disciples. All right, so that we could stand together. A cord of three is not broken easily, and that's what you got to remember. So the scoffers, like I said, no mercy, no grace. You're gone, is how I look at it. And I've tried to eliminate any of those in my life now. I don't need the toxicity, okay? So they can go on and do their thing, is what it boils down to. But now you've seen the 5 groups of the different non-preppers and how you can deal with them some and how you can talk to them. But as I said at the beginning, this is not an all-inclusive list, okay? There are others that fit in halfway between each of the groups, okay? And some that will progress or some will degress. Life is fluid. Life is fluid. And I believe in getting the benefit of the doubt up until the obstinate shows up. And then, see ya. And guys, if you made it this far, well, God bless you. I appreciate it. And that's just the ramblings of an old preacher here. But there are different groups out there of non-preppers, just as well as there are preppers. And I'm going to talk about them one day and some of the ones you need to steer clear of. But until I see you again, I'm praying God may richly bless you and that you'll continue to stand in that gap. This is the Prepping Preacher, guys. I'm out of here. Watch for them scoffers.